Have you ever tried to control everything and still felt like your life was falling apart? You planned carefully, you worked hard, you did everything right, but somehow things didn't go your way. Doors closed, plans failed, people changed, and now you're left asking, why is this happening? Why can't I fix this? Why is everything out of my control? The truth is, we all want control. We want to know what's coming next. We want things to go our way. We want life to feel certain and safe. But life doesn't work like that. And deep down, that loss of control scares us. Because when we're not in control, we feel anxious. We feel lost. We feel afraid of the unknown. But what if not being in control is actually a blessing? What if the very thing you're fighting is the thing God is using to bring you closer to Him? The Bible says in Book of Proverbs 3:5-6, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." Did you notice that? Lean not on your own understanding, because your understanding is limited. You see only a small part of the story, but God sees everything. You see the problem. God sees the purpose. You see the delay. God sees the preparation. You see confusion. God sees the direction. And that's why you don't need control. You need trust. But trusting God is not easy, especially when life doesn't make sense, when prayers seem unanswered, when things fall apart unexpectedly, when you feel like you're losing everything. That's when trust becomes real. Not when everything is perfect, but when everything is uncertain. The Bible says in Book of Isaiah 55:8-9, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways." God's plan is bigger than your plan. His timing is better than your timing. His understanding is greater than yours. So when life feels out of control, it's not out of God's control. Nothing surprises Him. Nothing confuses Him. Nothing is too hard for Him. Even right now, in the middle of your confusion, God is still in control. Maybe you're trying to control a situation, a relationship, a future plan, an outcome you desperately want. But the more you try to control it, the more stressed you become, the more anxious you feel, the more exhausted you get, because you were never meant to carry that burden. The Bible says in 1 Epistle of Peter 5:7, "Cast all your anxiety on Him, because He cares for you." God is saying, give it to me. Your worries, your fears, your plans. Let go and let Him take control. But letting go is hard because it feels like losing control. But in reality, it's gaining peace. Because when you trust God, you don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to carry everything alone. You don't have to fear the future. You can rest knowing that God is leading you. Think about this. If you could control everything, would you really choose what's best or just what's comfortable? Sometimes what feels good now is not what's best later. That's why God sees what you cannot see. He protects you from things you don't even realize. He redirects you when you're going the wrong way. Closed doors are not rejection. They are protection. Delays are not punishment. They are preparation. And confusion is not the end. It's part of the process. So instead of asking, why is this happening? Start asking, God, what are you teaching me? Because every situation has a purpose, even the painful ones. The Bible says in Epistle to the Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." Not some things, all things. That includes your struggles, your failures, your disappointments. God is working through it all, even when you don't understand, even when you don't see it, Even when it hurts, God is still working. So today, take a deep breath and release control. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to carry the weight alone. Just trust Him, step by step, day by day. And remember, your life is not falling apart. It's falling into place according to God's plan. So let go and let God lead. Because when you stop trying to control everything, you finally allow God to do what only He can do. And His way is always better.